Okay, well, welcome back. This is sort of following on, but it made sense to cut this into two. So as you can see, there's no chance that it's going to stop snowing outside. I don't think you can see because it's too bright, but when I get up close, you can probably see now. So I have to find something to do because I can't do any roofing, and the dump is closed, and I'm not going to take the trailer or try and drive up and down the hill with the trailer full of stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this here. I'm going to cut it, I'm going to sand it, I'm going to oil it, I'm going to make the holes, and I'm basically going to finish it and put the whole thing together. And then hopefully by this evening we'll be brushing our teeth here. Okay, well, after last time a lot of people commented that to cut a straight line you need a straight edge. So here is a straight edge, and I've actually screwed it onto the bottom of the bit of wood so that won't move. And also to cut a straight line you need something which resembles a blade. So as you can see, it didn't go very well last time. I've got a brand new blade on there, I've got a straight edge. It's all set up just to take 1 millimeter off. So I'm going to do that on both bits of wood, this one and that one. And then hopefully they will match up. Screw some brackets on the back and then we'll see what we do next. That's a much cleaner cut. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing on the other one, and hopefully they'll line up, and that should be much more attractive and much better. Obviously, stop water dripping through. I will put a little bead of silicone down the middle, and they'll be oiled up. So right, keep going. Okay, well, as you can see, that's 1,000,000 times better. So now I'm going to screw them together on the other side. And then I'm going to cut down the edges so that we get a nice square rectangular box. Okay, well that should hold them together for now, just while I get the edges set and trim down both sides, and then it'll be belt sander, then it'll be orbital sander, then it'll be oil, then it'll be drilling holes, getting everything set up and screwing it up in the bathroom. I have some spectators. Okay, well I think that looks fabulous. It's supposed to still look old, but sanded down now. I had to go a little bit with the belt sander to get the middle flat because I'm going to have to put the sink through there, but I think that looks great. So I'm going to take it in now and put it where it belongs and see how it looks. Well, there it is in place, and the colour of it just sort of picks up on the gold of the frame. I think that looks amazing. So I'm going to screw it in. Cut the holes, get some oil, and in an hour or so we should be done, hopefully. Okay, so there we go. It's now in situ, and I've put the sink that we got for it up on top, which is a nice freestanding sink. But what I didn't consider is when I bought the plug, the siphon, is that this one has an overflow, and this sort of sink doesn't have an overflow. So I just bolt that in there. And if I flip it up, you'll see what I mean. The water would just run straight back out of those overflow holes. So I'm going to need to get another one. But I can still mark and drill and fit the tap and get everything else set up, so that then it'll just be a matter of popping the last couple of bits together tomorrow. And hopefully I can pick that up at a DIY store nearby tomorrow. Okay, so as soon as I started drilling, my battery powered drill ran out of batteries, so I'm going to oil it. This is the same procedure as on the table next door. It's super easy, it's colourless, but it protects it, makes it look great. It'll probably be 2 reasonably good coats, I guess. And as you may have seen in the background, I am having a sneaky one because it is now quite late in the afternoon. So, here's my brush. Let's go. Yeah, there we go. So that's pretty much what it's going to look like. Seems to be a crying baby in the background. Yep, water's plugged in. That all works. This isn't, obviously, but the hole is there. It's ready to go. Just have to pick up another one hopefully tomorrow, if it finally lets up snowing, because it's literally been snowing all day. But I really want to get to the dump as well and get rid of all that stuff that's hanging around here. So that's going to be about it for today. I can't really do much more. I'm going to have a quick hoover underneath and tidy up my stuff, and that'll be that. Okay, well, this was definitely worth waiting for. Look at this. Beautiful sunshine. Everything's white. But it is warming up and the snow is melting, so hopefully tomorrow, as you can see, there's still quite a lot of snow up on the roof. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to attack that and get that bit of roof done. That would certainly make my life easy. You can see it's just dripping off here, and as pretty much everything in the house is south facing, it will melt off pretty quickly. So unfortunately the roads are still, you can see the road down there, still completely slippery, and I don't really feel like getting the trailer out and dashing down to the dump before it closes in about an hour's time. So that'll probably have to wait now for a couple of days, and then we'll see. So first things first, I'm going to try and get the drone, and then I shall do some tidying, just some general tidying, get some tools away, so nothing too exciting. Okay, so the snow is now beginning to melt and it's running pretty much everywhere now. I can see a drip there. This is basically what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for drips because there's no way I'm going to be able to rebuild all of this in the next day or two. It all needs to be stripped off and everything needs to be taken out. We don't really need these. I don't know why it's covered. It should just have little lats, but it's obviously very old and was just someone just put new tiles on it. There's a lot of water coming through there, so it's quite hard to work out why. Let me have a closer look there. Yeah, you see all of these tiles are supposed to be interlocked and they're just not. They've just been kind of spread out and they've moved over time, so it's going to be a quick fix for this winter. And so I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. It looks like there's ice under there, but it is in fact stone, and that's our problem. See where that piece of metal stops, just runs out, and it looks like there's a couple of broken tiles and it runs then into the wall. So that's what I'm going to have to get up to. Stood up here. Everything else, that bit over there is now pretty good. You know, we fixed that last summer. There is a little gap, it looks like. Something might have broken one tile there, but most of the roof is now pretty good. Just that one bit there, and I really don't like it coming in there because it comes into the hallway and comes into that little bedroom, which I've already painted. Okay, well, I'm going to let the rest of the snow melt off before I get up there. So the village tree is up, it's lit, it's decorated, it's unmissable, I think is the word. Big star. The church is lit as well. The church is much prettier, but the church is always lit like this. So look, actually makes my car look quite posh. So yeah, so that's lovely. And now we shall head back and go to bed. Tomorrow is another day, so have an excellent evening. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, well, good morning. Another beautiful morning here. It is icy cold. But the weather is amazing, and I'm going to now climb through the little hole and get up onto the roof, the bit behind us over there. So as you can see, on some of the bits of roof there's still quite a lot of snow, but on what is south facing, like this bit here, most of it's melted, and we are south facing, so I'm hoping most of it's gone. I haven't got up there yet, but that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, so as you can see from the shadow, this time I have my headlamp on. Oh. Gonna climb through here and down through that hole in the end there, which seems to be, see, it's just a tiny little gap. Squeeze through there. So here we're above the first room we did. Oh, it's just a plastic pump, but much too big for this. Sorry about the video quality. I'm on all fours. Ow. And it's kind of rough on the knees, to be honest. Here we're above the little bathroom. Under here, I don't know how a piece of bicycle made it up here. Crawl through here. If you look this side, this wood is pretty new. It doesn't look too bad. But the front side, oh, is a different story. Claustrophobia. Here we come. I've never been in here before, for obvious reasons. Oh look, that looks like a really well done bit of roof, doesn't it? Okay, I'm going to have to turn the phone off, unfortunately, now. Turn this off. Okay. Well, I'm through. That was very uncomfortable. That's a tiny little gap. Out of breath already. This doesn't look good, but these don't look too bad. But this is, I don't know who would go home at the end of the day and so that's the job well done. Someone obviously did. So I'm going to now make a hole, take out some of these tiles, and then I'll get a better view of what exactly needs to be done. It's going to be down there somewhere, but I'm going to start here. While we're up here, little window, another fabulous view over another not so great roof, but not so important roof for now, and the countryside. Okay, let's make some holes. Okay, up we go. Oh, I don't fit. Right. I don't fit, unfortunately. A little bit too fat for these, but I can see the problem. And if I turn the camera around, you probably will too. So the problem is that bit of metal is floating, so it just dumps its water on top of that, whatever it is, and then there's a stone and lots of bits of broken stuff, and that's where it just all falls to bits, I guess. So in fact, I'm in completely the wrong place to be fixing this. And there is still on this side quite a lot of snow, which isn't the pure south side. Ow. So I'm going to go over there into that corner and make a hole and try and climb through there. There's a hole up there someone seems to have filled. I don't know where that goes. God. Still, well, it's the views. Every view is slightly different. You hear the church bells. That's 8:30, I guess. Okay, so I closed that up, and just looking, everything looks pretty dry here. In fact, it doesn't look too bad. Oh, he said that broken tile there. And amazingly enough, there's a good one there. There's a few here. I almost didn't see that, so I'm going to swap that out now. And further down, it looks pretty good until we get right down to that corner. So perhaps I was a little hasty. Well, it's not the way I would have done it, that's all, I guess, but there we go. So yeah, like some old watermarks there, but I don't think it's too bad. Okay, there's some poo there, so a cat's obviously been up here. Other than that, looks okay. So there we go, nice new tile. Convenient for them to have been up here, to have left a few, one or two of which aren't broken, so that went straight in there. That's perfect. Slide that up a bit and we're done. And we can crawl back through. Okay, so if you just, in case you hadn't realised how tight the hole I'm crawling through is, that's the rest of me. And that's the size of the hole. And then I have to get under this beam here, which is, well, you see the space there. And then it's crawling space over to the corner. We'll see how close into the corner I can start stripping the roof. Whew. Okay, well, we changed the tile, so it wasn't a complete waste of time. And actually I'm quite glad it's over here, because so I can get in and out very easily here to go and get tools and stuff. So I'm just basically going to start by stripping out the hole and see how close we are to what I actually want to do. So already you can see there's lots of toot, but these aren't the same as those tiles over there. These are much newer, so something's already been done at some point here, which doesn't necessarily surprise me, I guess. Let's get a reasonable sized hole. Some of them are a little older. Now, this is interesting, hang on. This is an older tile, as you can see. This doesn't have the same sort of structured industrial look. These are quite a lot older, but what you can see is where it's broken. It sort of comes up in little layers. What happens, as you can see quite clearly there where my finger is, there's a little bit of water gets in there, or a little bit of dampness, and then it freezes, and as it freezes it expands there. See it perfectly. I've just pulled this off here. So underneath there is just a little bit of water that's frozen, tiny little bit, and as it's expanded and become ice, the light on there, it's just pushed up the top layer and broken it. And that's how these tiles basically, over time, you can see it quite clearly all over the place, over time deteriorate. And it gets worse the more dirt there is on top, because that holds the water, or as soon as there's some sort of little scratch, the water will get into there. So yeah, look, there's a couple of little earth wasp nests, obviously long abandoned now. So yeah, keep going, get some tiles off and have a look at the view from here. Ooh, look at that. Okay, well, that's the tile we just changed. You can see a nice clean one. Over here, all of the snow is melted. We've got this metal multi-layer. I don't think that'll withstand any wind coming up, but hey, I'm gonna have to change it. Some of these tiles have just been changed, but without being cut, so that's pouring water far too far over. Yeah, I'm going to keep stripping. We're going to end up changing probably quite a lot, but you can see that there's some real not so good tiles there, and a few good ones. So someone has been up here at some point and changed things out. This is not the first time there has been a problem. I do have some new tiles from when I did the living room last year, but I mean, this is just ridiculous. That's of no real use to anyone, this. But it's a little bit further over there. It's actually properly in the corner where I think the main problem is. And that's, although that, you know, that is obviously a problem. So we will be doing a fair bit of building today, I think. Okay. Have that off, I don't use. I mean, honestly, did someone really think that that bit of wood is useful where it is? Not convinced. So this creates a huge waterfall that then just basically pushes up and out of the tiles, although right there it seemed to be not so bad. And then all of this water accumulates under a bit of stone and a couple of broken tiles and pours into the wall. And if we can fix that, that will be a big plus. Now obviously there's a lot to do here on this, but there's no, again, surprisingly, no or almost no water coming in. That we saw, I put a piece of plastic under that. That's those top tiles need resetting. but that's going to be a roof off job, so I'm not going to do that now. The rest of it, the structures, the walls all still look good, but the roof up here looks not too bad. I'm always amazed at that house over there, which has been empty for, they told me it's like 67 or something, and the roof is still more or less on it. The windows are falling off it and the gutters are gone, and there's definitely water seeping into the wall there. You can see where it's sort of, the end tiles have collapsed, but it's still standing. I hope it stands for a very long time, because if it does fall down, it's going to take my house with it. While we're up here, might as well enjoy the amazing view. Every single time I poke my head out of a window or a roof here, I just think, wow, because it really is wow. Okay, I'm going to strip and try and get closer down to that. I strip tiles, not strip. Okay, so here is, I think, some of our problem. Water getting under there, and then there is perhaps some more of our problem. It looks like those tiles aren't hooked in right. So while the snow isn't melted on there, that's going to be quite complicated, but I'm going to clean up here first, just clean. Okay, well, any excuse to get a picture of the house from this side. So you can see how well it's melted there. It needs to melt up here, but in fact, if you look, there's our spout. So I've been up there and I've stripped off that corner, but on this roof. And the black bit is just slightly further over now. I think it might be just pushing water across from that piece of metal. So I bent the edge of that piece of metal up, which I'll show you when I get back up there. But I'm going to take off those tiles and have a look and see exactly what's going on there. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to get to them, because they are back in that crawling space, but right in the far corner. Real, not a great place to be. Okay, so here's what I have left over from last year, or from actually this year, earlier on this year, when I was messing about on the roof above the living room. Got that, there's some lats there, some roofing wood. So I can probably get quite a lot sorted, but I do want the snow to melt on that bit of roof there, because you can really see right there, that's where the problem is, in the wall. And inside the house, that problem, this is very slippery, avoid the ice, there we go. Inside, you can see there's water that's come in there, it still is. And it's obviously been that way. I mean, even there in the middle, you can see everything that's damp. And it's very hard to tell in this house what's currently damp and what was damp, but this is currently damp. So I really need to get that done, because it's doing damage now. I don't want it to do any more damage. So yeah, right there. It's right there, and then it seeps into the wall, because unfortunately this has been cement rendered, so it doesn't let the wood, it doesn't let the water get back out. So it just kind of sits there, and it's doing nothing clever. So I really need to fix that today. That's the big plan for today. I'm going to help the melting process along with this. The last time I got this out, I called it a hairdryer. Somebody commented, it's obviously not a hairdryer. It's obviously not a hairdryer. So I'm going to try and melt some snow. Let's see how we do. Okay, well, that was not a success. That was not a success at all. I scratched most of that off with a bit of wood. So I'm now going to just going to make a hole from here and climb across, and climb in, and then strip down layer by layer and see how far down we can get to that wall and see exactly what's going on there. Okay, so there's hole number one. Lots of work to do there. That bit broke as I climbed through. This one's rotten. Over here it looks much better, at least on this end of it. But I've made my hole, which is much better than trying to crawl in here. Fortunately, you know, still lots of snow on here, which isn't so good. But as I work my way down, we'll hopefully get a nice clear view of what the problem is. Bingo, so quite clearly see that it's damp under here. So right where that comes in, I think perhaps a good move would be to try and drop that with an angle to stop it pushing down. It's not a huge amount of roof actually there, but as it comes down, that seems to be a problem. Under here, we've got a load of soot, which all needs to be cleaned out. And then I'm going to check all of the tiles, and I'm probably going to replace pretty much all of them right here. That's wet, but I don't know if that's just me right now. But the wall underneath is quite obviously wet, and here it isn't. This is just snow that I've dropped in. So it's very specifically located, surprisingly enough, right where all of the water comes in off this, and all of the water comes in off that. So, yeah, we need to basically find a much cleverer way of doing it than this. This is a terrible, terrible way of doing it. So, yeah. But I'm quite happy to have found what I think the problem is. Go again and see. I might still have. Look at that. That's just pushed on there. I might still have an angle somewhere that will go onto that. Otherwise, I'll go and pick one up and the builder's merchants later on. I'm just going to basically clean now. I'm going to try and get all of. Now, you see, I know there are tiles underneath it, but being of an engineering mind, I guess, I wouldn't have one going under the other one when we're going downhill. So that, again, that just looks strange to me. And these are just bits of metal that have been hammered on with nails. I don't know if I'm going to find any metal at the, you see, because today's Sunday, most things are open in Italy, surprisingly enough. But the proper builders merchants isn't. The DIY store is, the builders merchants isn't. So I'm going to clean first, and then we'll see how we get on. So slowly starting to put it together. It's less than ideal. The tin bits are better because they're at least running in the right direction now, and they are tucked under their respective tiles, and we are now tiled up to the wall. But that's less than ideal. When I next come back, I will bring a piece of flashing that will flashing, or I don't even know what it's called in English, I guess. And I'm going to try and get. I just really want to get it waterproof because it really needs to be redone completely. It wouldn't be such a big job actually. I mean, it's only a little tiny bit of roof. I would do this quite happily myself if I knew that it wasn't going to be done by somebody else at a later date. If you look at that, that's completely off because they're all supposed to be set off by half a tile. There's no way that's going to work properly. Anyway, not much I can do now. I don't know where we slipped because they're fine there. You see the way they interlock. And then somewhere around here, it all just goes pear-shaped. Anyway, put this back together because it is now melting and running into the house, which is a bad thing. Over there it's fine. I've got plenty of time for that because I'm going to need to change wood there and stuff and get those tiles up. But these tiles seem to be pretty much okay. It was just a matter of having too much water on there. So I'm now going to go and find a bend and put that bend on there. That will definitely help. I'm going to get this so that this runs out as softly as possible and as far spread as possible. But first I'm going to go down and find a bend. So there's that angle on there. Probably turn it a little bit. I'm going to turn it a little bit. I left myself a couple of little ones I'm going to climb across. But basically now all of these tiles are lined up perfectly. None of them have holes in them. So hopefully that'll do. I can't see any reason why not. So yeah, we'll take it from there. A bit better. I mean, my theory, obviously I don't know really what I'm doing. I never do. But my theory is I'd rather have it come down onto a tile than onto a joint. And then into the gutter. Right, so that looks so far pretty good. I'm going to climb out. Over here we've got a lot of work to do with wood and everything else, and hammering and screwing and what have you. So I'm going to go put these last couple of tiles in. Surprising difference between the quality of those and the quality of these. Maybe all of these were redone at some point, I don't know. But those just in terrible shape. Okay, so that's stage one. It'll be interesting to see how well that holds up. hopefully better than it was. It's now melting, so it was a good thing to get that done quickly. I've just seen there's a hole there, so I'll have to fill that up. Otherwise, yeah, not great, but it'll have to do for now. Okay, so here's a bit of wood, and I want to replace this up to about there. I want to replace this to there, and I want to replace this to here. So I'm not going to do too much, but the first thing is having something for them to sit on. So I'm going to put a piece of wood that there was once here along there, because these are floating and that's not very useful. So I'm going to cut the first bit and then fix that in there, and then we'll put the slats on. I've got 2 of these, so we should be okay. Okay, well that's going to be a million times stronger. It's not going anywhere in a hurry, so I'm going to tie up those rows because I need to move back as I keep going along. Otherwise I'm going to tie myself into a corner like I did in the little bathroom downstairs. So start at the bottom, slowly work our way up. Okay, well I've left a hole in the roof. We went out and did some shopping. I picked up 1 or 2 bits and bobs from the DIY store. So tomorrow I'm going to put the roof back together. I've got everything I now need, and then we'll be going to the dump. So that's it for today's video. There will be a part 2 on finishing up those things, which I'll film tomorrow and probably put up sometime over the next couple of days. So anyway, for now, thank you very much for watching. Take care. Bye bye for now.